Hey, what's up, guys? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and in this episode, I talked to Dylan Taylor. If you're not familiar with that name, you will be in the very near future. He's doing catering and he's going to open up his own brick and mortar. But if you follow barbecue at all, he will be familiar to you. He's worked at Terry Black's Barbecue in Austin, Law Barbecue in Austin, Truth in Brenham, and he did a short stint at Bodacious Barbecue in Longview, Texas. 2M Smokehouse is his current location in San Antonio. In the meantime, he's done a stage at Uchi in Austin. Incredibly interesting. We talk all about pits and the different pits that he's used and cooking styles and cooking theory, and there's a wealth of knowledge here. You get to know Dylan so much more and get to know the barbecue scene, and he's been there as this whole barbecue scene has grown, and he was there when the Texas Monthly List came out, so he was at Truth during that time. That's an interesting piece of this puzzle. You're gonna love this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe. I'll be adding at least 2 of these per week. But enjoy. Good morning, Dylan. How you doing?
Kevin, good man. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
I am doing well. It's the beginning of the week, so who knows what? Who knows how I'm doing?
See how it goes, man. But so far, so good.
So what's your week looking like?
Um, so I start working on Thursday.
Okay.
So I got a few days off. So I'm gonna try to finish up some work on the smoker. I got a little like 500-gallon road pit that I've been welding with John Lewis's dad. And it's done. It's on a trailer and it's tow ready, but I got to wire up the brakes still, and then I got to finish the wood cage and
Oh wow.
get done. So yeah, it's nearing completion, but it's sitting in the backyard right now. I was getting antsy and just wanted to cook on it. So yeah.
Have you cooked on it? You haven't cooked on it?
Oh yeah, I've cooked on it a ton. It's been sitting in the backyard for like 4 or 5 months, and I've just been like, all right, I'm gonna go back next week to finish it, and then something comes up, and I'm like, I gotta cook on it and like do something, because I've been doing some like cooking for I catered a friend's wedding like a few months ago, and then doing like little pop-ups, cooking for friends, or just having a little backyard barbecue party in the backyard or whatever.
Oh nice.
Have all the friends over and hang out.
Is your Thursday thing, is that your new job? Is that something that people know about, or is it?
Yeah. I mean, some people know about it, some people don't. I'm actually working at 2M Smokehouse right now.
Oh wow.
And then, yeah, I'm also actually getting a little catering business going around Austin, just to kind of get things going, make my own steps towards like a business one day. So I'm getting a website going. I'm thinking about, doing classes here and there. If anybody would want to take one,
Okay.
maybe doing, and I've actually been, talking to some buddies around town. There's a lot of people in Austin. Like there's a place called Sour Duck that's opening. It's like a odd duck, barley swine.
Oh, so it's guys?
Yeah. Bryce Gilmore.
Yeah, Bryce.
Yeah, the name was spacing.
Yeah, I lost it too, and I didn't want to say the wrong name.
So bad with the name, man. Yeah, so they're getting a smoker. It's going to be a really cool project. I'm actually going to help them out and, just kind of show them how to play with fire for a day.
Nice. So that you'll be within that world until who knows what, until hopefully you get your own trailer. Or do you want a trailer, or you have
The trailer sounds really cool, but honestly, kind of want like just to start out with like a really small brick and mortar, and kind of build. Like I really like how 2M Smokehouse started. They have a decent sized like brick and mortar, but Essel and Joe built that up, with their 2 hands and did all the work themselves, and just started off with a 1,000-gallon smoker in there.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about that. Yeah.
And that's like it's approachable, and it seems like a good way to like get in, because if something goes wrong, you never know what's going to happen in the future. But if something does go wrong, then it's like, all right, cool, I can walk away knowing that we're okay.
Yeah,
we don't owe anybody anything. Like we did this ourselves. Like it's a safer way to start.
No, that makes sense. A lot of people probably don't know that that's even an option for them, that they can do that, because I know that his place was a restaurant prior though, but I think he totally retooled it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They had like the what's it called? Like the structure was there, like the foundation was there, but he kind of just slowly built onto it as they went. And they did like repainted everything themselves. They did a lot of like woodwork themselves, built the counters and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I want to be able to do something like that maybe one day. I'm not as handy as
I was gonna say, are you handy enough?
Call on some friends. And, it might be a little harder for us to do that, or for me to do that. But yeah, man,
cool.
Start out something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of people don't really know you could do that. But in barbecue, I feel like it's the main thing you could do. Like it's the most acceptable to do it in that realm of cooking, because it's one of the most DIY, ways to cook, and just to get everything done. Like you can build your own smoker, and then that's like really all you need if you if you can make that work, then
That's
you
true
got to.
because you're not it's not a commercial kitchen per se unless you're doing it like some crazy sides and stuff.
Exactly. But if you want to just do like a straight up barbecue restaurant, all you really need is a smoker and like a not horrible kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, no, you know what? You could have a horrible kitchen. You could still make it work, you know?
As long as it's food safe, but it could be janky and
Yeah, man. As long as that smoker's good to go, then I think you'll be okay. So,
that's cool. So would you be interested in doing, and I'll put a link below if you give me a link to if people want to contact you for classes and for
yeah.
also for consulting stuff. But would you be good looking for Austin or would you looking for somewhere outside Austin?
Like for classes, I want to do it in Austin. I think I love the city, and I think it'd be really fun to do it in Austin. But I just think there's a lot going on here,
Hmm.
and I think I like competition because it pushes you to be better and stuff. But I think that I don't know exactly what city I'd want to go to yet, but I know Austin probably wouldn't be the place I would settle down
Yeah, yeah,
for a barbecue restaurant.
yeah. That's like look what it did for 2M. Like
Yeah,
the fact
they're
like they opened up in a place that didn't have as many.
Yeah, exactly. As many maybe go to some like more uncharted territories.
Yeah, don't say it on this so that way people don't know. Like
Yeah, right. It's a secret. I just like I haven't really like thought about I need to still go like visit a bunch of cities and see like what I want to do. So that's why catering. I definitely do like caterings and stuff in Austin. Just kind of get my feet wet with like running a business and just kind of slowly build it from there. Because I'm 23. I still got some time but I want to get started sooner than later. So.
so what is your background? Did you grow up in Austin?
So I was born in Austin, but I moved to the DFW Metroplex when I was like 3 or 4. So I don't really remember Austin back then.
Okay.
Back in what they call the good old days in Austin before all this madness started coming. Everything up. But yeah, I was born in Austin, moved to the DFW Metroplex when I was like 3 or 4. I grew up in Arlington, Texas, specifically.
Oh wow.
Went to high school there. Lived there until I guess, graduated high school when I was 17 or 18. And then I moved back to Austin. Just really like we'd gone, like me and my friends had gone and hung out there, and just it was a really cool city. I went there to go to school and to play music. Actually, we were in a band and
Oh.
wanted to keep rocking and rolling.
Do you still play?
Yeah, I haven't played in a long time just because work's been so crazy,
Yeah.
but we're thinking about getting the band back together. So,
I, I love when people say they get the band back together. It just sounds so cool.
like, yeah, I know, right? Such a funny thing. So whenever I moved to Austin, though, I was there was so much like good food that I wasn't used to like having like access to.
Hmm.
In Arlington, everything is like it's a franchise or like a chain, like
For
a
sure.
good night out is going to like Payway or PF Chang's or like like some like big like commercial
For sure.
like franchise like nice restaurant.
Which
So
it kind of is in a lot of major cities across the United States. Sadly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is, and it was like the suburbs. Like I don't know, the people there were pretty cool, but it was just I don't know. Yeah, Austin was a lot better fit for me.
It's eye opening when you go to Austin to see the wealth of food. It's amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, and I was like so like like almost like refreshed by that, and just so like amazed and like taken aback. I just really kind of like fell into food unexpectedly whenever I moved to Austin, just because I didn't know how much I would enjoy food, and especially barbecue too. Like barbecue for me growing up was like Spring Creek, Coulter's, Dickey's, and then we got a Rudy's when I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, and that was like the new place to
That
go.
is the next step up if you think about it.
Yeah, man, it was. We were like, man, we got a good restaurant here now. We're good to go on barbecue. But I didn't really like barbecue as much when I was in Arlington, just because like this wasn't that good. So I didn't really look at it as like anything special. But then I moved to Austin, of course, and then I had Franklin. I had La Barbecue. Went to like all the old spots in Lockhart.
Yeah, it changes your life.
Yeah, man, I was blown away. And then so yeah, just kind of I started eating it and then started reading up on it. And then I ended up dropping out of school to kind of pursue music more and just kind of work and I really didn't want to go to school. So I kind of dropped out, and then Terry Black's was opening on Barton Springs
Okay.
Road. And I didn't really still know as much about like the barbecue families or anything. So I was like, oh, that's like the Blacks in Lockhart. Learn how to cook barbecue. And then got a job there and then started.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I was 19.
Okay.
And then I really wanted to cook, and I was like, teach me how to cook. But I was I was I had what they called a front of house personality type. So they stuck me up front on the cutting block, and I was kind of upset about it at first, but looking back, I was really glad I started cutting before I started cooking because I got to know my way around a brisket.
That's
Uh,
important. Yeah, getting like jumping right into that is that's a big deal. Like a lot of people don't know the proper way to cut a brisket, or even to
yeah,
interact properly with people while you're cutting it.
exactly. And I think cutters are one of the most underrated things in barbecue. If not the
Oh, for
most
sure.
important, because like if you have a good brisket, you don't cut it right, it was all for nothing.
Oh
But
yeah,
I mean, if you have a bunch of bad briskets, like a cutter's gonna know how to not serve, like what parts you can and what you can't serve.
hmm
I could think of them as like the gatekeepers.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's true.
Control like what goes in and out, and they know like you know every it's important to have a great cutter to make sure every customer gets an equally good experience.
For sure.
Just even like if you have a perfect brisket, there's still just parts of brisket that I just won't serve, and then is better off as chopped brisket.
hmm
Because chopped brisket can still be really good if you
Oh
mix
yeah,
some sauce in and like put it on a sandwich. Like I'll still eat that for lunch.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, so I think cutters are really important. So I was really glad that I was started off cutting in looking back
Yeah.
in hindsight. But
So how long did you do that?
I cut there for like 6 or 7 months, and
Okay.
then finally they're like, "All right, cool." Like I don't know, around summertime came around, and they were like, "All right, cool, you can start cooking now."
in the
I'm
in the
just
heat of
kidding,
the summer. Yeah.
on purpose, but I was yeah, it was great timing. So I was stoked, and I jumped back there and started cooking. Really got a good foundation there. Just learning how to build fires, work with fire, just how a brisket cooks.
Nice.
Same for pork ribs. I was doing like brisket shifts, and I would do rib shifts too. And then also when I was there, I was like still like wanting to figure out more about just cooking in general. So I was working at Uchi in the
Oh,
kitchen as like a prep cook in the morning.
that look at that. Look at this is
Yeah, I was
fascinating.
hungry.
Uchi's
I was ready to work.
damn, because Uchi is like that's upper tier. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, yeah, I worked there as a stage, and like I was super scared because I knew it was like a super nice like kitchen. Like the restaurant was great. I was super nervous. I was like 19. It was my first actual like kitchen job, and I just but everybody there, like the staff, like the chefs, everybody like, oh man, they were the nicest people.
That's
They were
great to hear.
so willing to help me like learn and guide my hand and everything. So that was cool. But I would just go in there like a couple days a week. And, I would work a rib shift from like 4 a.m. to noon, and then I would go in there and prep, and then if I could like stay for dinner and like help see what running dinner service was all about. So
Interesting.
that was cool, yeah. And so I went from there. So that was like the first kind of stage of my barbecue career. And then from there, I went to Franklin Bar, or not, sorry, not Franklin, La Barbecue. And yeah, I applied there like 5 times, and then finally the alley hit me back up with an email. I remember it was actually really funny. I went in for an interview, and then Leanne was out of town on a photo shoot. So it was Allie, and then Leanne was on Skype, and then I was on the other side of the table
Okay.
doing an interview. And then yeah, I got the job there, and I kind of started back from the bottom. Then cooking came later, so I started cutting.
Who was there? Was John there?
John had like was kind of in between Austin and Charleston at the time, so his SOO was there.
So,
Yeah, and
is that the proper way to say his name? S-I-O?
SOO, yeah.
I always say Saul. That's so
SOO.
funny.
Yeah, it's SOO.
He
It's like
never corrected me at all. What a nice
yeah.
guy.
He doesn't like it, but he'll like he doesn't tell anybody, but he doesn't like it. Yeah, he
I'll
likes.
have to, I'll have to send him an email and say I now know how to say
Yeah.
your name properly.
Well, that's why he liked me at first because I was like, I'm gonna make sure I pronounce your name right because he didn't. Yeah, he's like, there's some like kid here that's just walking around. What's he doing here? Yeah. So yeah, I started cutting there and like doing dishes and just
Okay.
doing random stuff, cleaning up, and then started cooking eventually. I'm just kind of slowly working my way in like one day a week, with SOL, and then SOL left, and then I guess yeah, it was pretty much like my time to shine. And I was like, oh man, like here's the moment you've been waiting for. You're here now. And then it was funny. It was like the timing worked out to where it was like the weekend before Texas Monthly Barbecue Fest,
Okay.
and John Lewis was actually coming in town to like do that. So that's when he was like, all right, cool. I got like 2 or 3 weeks to cook with him, and he was like training me.
That's
Like
so nice.
yeah, it was awesome. And like SO was also a great teacher. So he had taught me, and then John came in and taught me some stuff as well. And they were both like really good at explaining like what, when, how, and why. Yeah. So then
That's great.
yeah, I did that for I worked at La Barbecue for I think about 2 years.
Okay.
little shy of 2 years, and then I went to go work with Leonard over at Truth.
What a
And
that's an odd we were like it's like the greatest hits of and like different styles because Terry Black's is a different barbecue restaurant than La Barbecue, and then Truth
yeah, man.
is its own.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It was Truth was way different. Like especially when I got there, man. Like because we were cooking on that close pit. We didn't have that 1,000 gallon
Oh wow.
in the works yet. So when I got there, we were cooking on a close, and that is like the most foreign, um, like pit I've ever cooked on at that point in time.
What makes
So
it so different so people can know?
yeah, okay. So it's got like a lot slower of a draw compared to like those like the Austin Smokeworks smokers or like just like a regular like offset smoker. It's got like a sausage box on the back, and that like so the heat kind of like comes in and then like kind of goes. There's like little holes in the middle,
Okay.
like this like solid wall. So it's like cooking chamber, sausage house, like a hanging smoking box, and then like the heat kind of comes in and kind of like floats up. But there's like the smokestacks are like literally like this tall, like on top of that, and then there's tuning plates that run along the bottom. So you get an incredible amount of bottom heat, but that also slows down convection and draw because heat wants to like rise and do its thing, but there's these tuning plates kind of keeping it down. So it is a very very weird cooking.
But it's good for your brain probably too to kind of figure.
And it was really cool. I actually like learned. You learn stuff from just doing something completely different. So I learned a lot cooking on that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was. I've never burnt the bottom of a brisket before. Like I had cooked on a close pit. I didn't know like those tuning plates collect. It's like 1/4 inch like steel. So they collect so much heat like, and then towards the end of the cook they just start like dispersing like all this heat like from the bottom. And the brisket would cook really evenly because you're getting some bottom heat on your lean in. Like your fatty end would break down a little slower. And
but you have to massage. It's a process. Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Wow. So then we got that, and then we got the that 1,000 gallon, and then we just kind of both just figured out cooking on that, and that was really cool.
How big was Truth at the time? Like, you had pretty good lines there? Because I know La Barbecue, obviously there were lines, and it was a big deal. But,
yeah, man. We were cooking a little bit less at Truth at the time. This is like right before the list had come out.
Okay.
For being in Brenham and like being on the side of the highway, like in between Austin and Houston, I was like, man, guys, this is awesome. Like you guys are killing it out here. Yeah, they were doing great. So yeah, we were cooking a good amount of food, and they were still like pretty solid lines. And then when the list came out, all hell broke loose, and we started getting like really busy. We were loading up both of the smokers, cooking as much food as we could. Yeah, man, it was pretty wild.
What time were you guys selling out at the different locations? I know that Terry Black's, they have lunch and dinner service, so they're not shooting to sell out. They sell out, but it's not that their goal.
No, yeah. And those guys will go through like 124 briskets or something crazy like that, like on a Saturday from like 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
That's so fascinating. That's so
right, and it's crazy. And they cook really good food too, especially for how much they're cooking. Like when you get to that level of production, it's hard to keep an eye on quality, but they found a pretty good way to like make sure everything comes out pretty consistent, man. And between three cutters or three gatekeepers, like
yeah, which is a difficult thing. I don't think people totally realize too. A lot of times you just want to have one or two people kind of touching the dealing with the smokers, because it's once you get too many hands, it's the consistency is off.
Yeah, I mean, I selfishly I would rather have like one cutter, but I know people don't always want to wait in line, so like two cutters is probably like where I cut the line. I really like the setup that we had at Truth. Me and Leonard we had like a really long counter, so we would set up like 2 cutting blocks and just cut people's orders. Like when the list came out, we were like, all right, cool, like we need to both cut because it's going to be pretty busy. So we had like I would cut half the order and Leonard would cut half the order. We had like I'm cutting brisket, ribs, and like sausage or brisket, ribs, and turkey, and Leonard would cut like beef ribs, turkey, sausage, vice versa. We would just split the cutting duties in half, and that way like we both know what to look for. We're still keeping a good eye on quality, but getting people through quicker.
Did you guys bring on a bunch of new people once the list came out, or did you have to at least like some for not necessarily for what you guys were doing, but in general, did you guys have to expand the staff? Or?
Not really. I mean, so I'm trying to think if we hired. No, we pretty much kept the same numbers like of people. We had it like pretty much under control. Like we're still cooking a lot of food, but like it wasn't anything that I couldn't keep up with because I mean I'm still used to cooking, like running 2 or 3 smokers at La Barbecue and stuff, and so we still had like one or like I guess we'll call it 1.5 smokers because that close is kind of small.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty manageable. I mean, we were already working like all day long, and we could keep up with with the lines and everything. So we didn't really have any. We had a couple of like people come and go, like in the back of house, like. But yeah, we pretty much kept the same core staff. It was me, Leonard, a guy named Adrian. He was doing sides and a lot of prep, and then Leonard's dad, and then Leonard's mom, and then a guy named Willie who was doing dishes and also helping with sides.
And Leonard's brother wasn't there, right? Or was he there at the time?
No, he was already gone to culinary school at that time. I forgot we did bring on Corey though. He was a general manager.
Okay.
I guess I was kind of just prepping for Houston, getting ready for like the big operation over there.
Yeah.
So it's just, just kind of
to learn the ropes and
yeah, exactly, showing the ropes, getting them ready for that.
So were you always planning on just a specific stint at Truth? Like, is that something, or have you been just kind of going along and then it's like, okay, I'm going to transition to the next thing? Or
it was actually really wild. I wasn't planning to stay there as long as I did.
Okay.
I was actually planning to move to Charleston to go work at Lewis Barbecue for a little bit, but then I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh man, it's really expensive to move out there. Like, I don't know. I just was like making sure it was going to be like worth the trip out there, and I just decided to not go. And like me and Leonard were hitting our stride pretty hard at Truth.
Yeah.
So I decided to stay there. And like they're opening up the Houston location. I was planning on going there, but that kept getting pushed back because whenever Harvey hit, like a long list of like permits,
for sure,
a long line of permits, like people waiting in line for permits to rebuild and stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, their buildings and yeah, so we didn't end up. It's still just kind of getting pushed back. This is kind of something that was out of our control.
Yeah.
So I was kind of waiting for that. I was also like, living in Austin. I would still live in Austin and commute to Brenham. And we would sleep at the restaurant. We had a pretty crazy work schedule. We'd go to bed at like midnight and then wake up at 3 and put the ribs on and just keep working throughout the rest of the day. Oh. So we did have 3 days off, which was nice, but it was definitely a marathon for those 4 days. So I was getting a little worn out, doing that. And, just
it's tough work. It is tough work. People don't realize.
Yeah. And I had that pit, and I was like, I could probably start like working somewhere kind of part time and just getting a catering business going in the meantime.
Yeah.
And I've been, I think it's time for me to start spreading my wings and get my own thing going. So
I'm sure Leonard wasn't like stoked that you're leaving, but
yeah,
he understood it from that.
Yeah, he wasn't like super pumped about it from what I could like read on his facial expressions and stuff, but he wasn't mad about it.
He would. Yeah, I couldn't imagine him holding you back from the other. Yeah.
Oh man, and even his parents and him were all like thank you so much like for everything, and like good luck in the future, and like stay in touch. Like we're all family here. I did feel like a part of their family, like we're working there, because we spent so much time together. Like there's no hard feelings, man. Like,
but your history now in the barbecue world, like you've traversed like these different restaurants that are on people's like wish list to go to, and then you spent what 4 or 5 days over at Bodacious?
Yeah, I think I spent about 4 days there working with them. That was really fun.
And how did that work out? How did that come about?
Me and Jordan had just like talked to each other at festivals and just kind of have a lot of other things that fall into place. Just like talking to each other and just talking about cooking. And he's like, "Yeah, man, if you ever want to come hang out, like come hang out."
He's one of the coolest guys here.
Yeah, people are cool like that, man. They're like, especially in the barbecue world, they're like, "Yeah, dude, come hang out and cook. Like, we'll have you. Let's see what happens." So it was really cool. I'd wanted to like cook there for a while too because I'd gone to eat there like 6 months or so ago, and it was just so different. It's definitely like East Texas like centric barbecue. So
sure.
it was just, you can tell like Bodacious was very unique in this, like with their own style.
Yeah.
Hadn't tasted anything like that before. So I just kind of wanted to see how they were cooking. I really wanted to cook on those pits.
That pit room is awesome.
Oh man, it's crazy,
it's so
man.
Cool.
That's what I loved about it. It was so cool. It's a really cool schedule. And yeah, we would go there, and the cooking on those smokers was just something that was like, I thought cooking on a close was different, but that was even cooler to see. And those guys over at Bodacious, Jordan and company, they have like those pits figured out like the back of their hands, man. They know exactly like where the heat flows, like what the hot spot and the cold spot is. Like, I mean, we do too, like on our offset smokers, but like I don't know, it's just a crazier operation.
Yeah.
Those Bewley pits, like with those box pits, and they're not like commercial Bewleys. Roland designed a lot of them and had like the Bewley guy like fabricate them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's actually cool.
Back
Roland,
in the day, yeah.
Cool getting to hang out and talk to Roland, man. That guy is like he's a barbecue legend too, man. Like he started that whole Bodacious, franchise, but like started off like with that one in Longview. It used to be called, I think it was like Little Roland's
It
Foundation.
was like a really long name. I remember it, Jordan
Yeah,
Jones. Yeah.
and it was really cool getting to hear all of his stories and talking and like
Oh, that's awesome.
about smokers and I got to like show him my little picture, my red plate. I was like, check that out, like this is what I built. So you're proud of me? No, I'm just kidding.
So,
Yeah.
so did you make sausage with them too? Because I know they make a bunch of different sausages. And...
Yeah, so I made the boudin with him.
Oh, the boudin. Okay.
That was cool. Yeah, I was watching him make the other one, like the house link, but I got to make the boudin. It was a lot more simple of a process than I thought, but it was still like a good amount that goes into it. You know, like cooking rice, cooking the meat, chopping it all up and then mixing it together. Yeah, it was cool, man.
So did you stay out there when you? Is that how you did? Because it's not close to. It's not like super close to Austin.
No, it's like 4.5 hours from Austin. So I stayed at Brian, one of their guys, Brian Bingham.
Yeah.
He put me in his house, man. It was super. They were so nice, man. The most like hospitable people ever. Like he gave me a room. Like his wife and him like cooked us dinner like every night, and we went out and hung out, and got beers and stuff, man. It was cool. They took care of me well out there, man. It was awesome. So yeah, I stayed out there with them, and
they're both chefs too, which is incredible.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, dinner was pretty tasty every night.
So then with 2M, are you kind of doing the same thing and go down there just for a little bit, or are you going to be working at 2M for?
I'm probably planning there to stay there for like probably about a year.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter. I think in probably like a solid year there, because I'll be working like 2 or 3 days a week there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just be working. I'll probably sleep in San Antonio for like those 2 days. Essel said I could stay at his house, or I'll either sleep on that cot in the restaurant.
There's a cot, right?
Yeah, but it's only for 1 day a week, not the whole week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll work there and then just slowly start getting the catering going.
Wow, that's really great. In your mind, when you open up your own place, do you think of it being like straight Central Texas style barbecue, or do you think maybe you might have some additional, or do you want to go straight?
So I really enjoy the Central Texas, like the German Czech style barbecue. Just making it like the best possible version that anybody's had, or the best possible version that I can make. I do admire like Evan and Brotherton for like making like, I think there's room in barbecue to like expand and do like different takes on it, and I think that's really cool and sometimes just equally as good, but me personally, I really love like Central Texas barbecue and like cooking it and like those preparations,
the simplicity yet in the complexity of that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I love going to like Louis Miller's or like City Market and just getting like a classic like Texas beef link, or like even like Kreitz and Smitty's. Like I want to make like takes on that, just like really simple,
nice,
good, clean flavor, but like having it just turn all the way up to 11. You know what I mean? I wanted, yeah, that'd be my goal.
Why don't you just make 10 louder?
Yeah, it has to be at 11.
That's awesome. What do you think for someone that wants to get into the barbecue world, that's 18, 19, 20, do you recommend kind of doing what you do, like what you did, kind of just keep at it, like keep bugging or sending your resume in and keep like going to the places that you really love to try to get a job? Would you recommend that? Or
I mean, I don't know, like obviously when you're 18 or 19, like you can take on a lot more than you could like when you're older, like I'm only 23, but I'm already kind of like, oh man, I'm not as like, I don't have the same stamina. Yeah. I don't have the same stamina I did when I was 18 or 19, Yeah, I would definitely like start whenever the younger you start, the better, just because you have more time to learn, you have more time to make mistakes and just figure out like what you want to do, and when you're 18 or 19, like you don't really care about as much about like what goes down. So like, I was willing to like, just eat a lot more crap than I would now. You know what I mean? Like I was willing to like take more than I would be now. So like you're more like elastic, you're more like juvenile. I think it's the best way to start is like whenever you're younger and just take it all in and just go for it. Just literally just dive in and see if you really like it, man. Like that's the best way to like just take it apart and see if you like it.
And if you like the hours and you like because you're and the close quarters and the people that you're with a lot, you have to be able. The restaurant business in general is an interesting field, and then having to barbecue is a whole other thing.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. Yeah, man, it's like two separate like worlds almost. But, yeah, it's like, yeah, I would highly recommend just starting off as young as possible.
So it's like it's doable, and obviously you did it, but it's also too like there's so many restaurants. If you live in Texas, I think if you really want to open a place even outside of Texas, go to Texas, live there for a few years, and really learn it. Like because all the restaurants they need people eventually. There's people leaving and coming and going.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important too to like really like understand what barbecue is about. Like go to those old school spots, talk to people,
For
hear the
sure.
stories, see how it got started. Because I feel like when you truly understand like the history and the cuisine, like you can like I don't know, it almost just comes out more authentic. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah,
there's like a certain level of finesse that kind of comes with like learning all that and just like truly understanding, like being a barbecue guy. You know.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that goes to show, like with any other kind of food that you want to cook, you know, like really understanding the cuisine and like what it's about, because like that's where authenticity comes from.
Yeah, and
Uh,
if you're truly passionate about it, if you just want a job, then that's completely different. Which,
yeah, exactly. But you can almost tell the difference, you know,
oh
like by
yeah,
like food or just like seeing what's going on. Like,
hmm
so yeah, I would definitely try to come to Texas. I mean, that being said, there are a lot of spots like outside of Texas now that are cooking like great barbecue, you know,
oh
like
for sure.
Jason's in Canada to name like one of them. Like there's a lot of great spots out there.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah, you
name a
can.
whole
No,
right
you
now,
can go
but
to New York. There's like
yeah.
I go to hometown. And,
Yeah, Billy Durney's killing it out there. Now he's going to Miami too.
yeah, isn't that
So
crazy?
yeah, man. So yeah, you don't have to move to Texas, but I would recommend it. Like I
And it
would,
wouldn't hurt to have that sort of base and understanding.
yeah, man. Exactly.
If that's a style you want to do. If you want to do
Yeah.
Kansas City style, you got to move to Kansas City for.
Kansas City, if you want to
And
learn how to cook whole hog, move to North and South Carolina or even Tennessee. You know.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
There's so many spots that if you learn that imagine that base that if you had
it's cool.
have you had a chance to cruise around?
Oh yeah, man. So every year, me and my buddies take like a road trip to like Portland or like New York, just somewhere like across the United States.
Okay.
And we take a road trip so we can see like all the states to and from. You know, we'll take like 2 weeks off and just go and like drive and, you know, stop in like New Orleans or wherever. But like we've gone to New York 2 years in a row, just because it's such a big city. We want to be able to do everything. And on the way to and from, we've had a chance to go. You know, we all like barbecue, so we're like, all right, cool. We're going to Kansas City. We're going to St. Louis. We're going to Memphis. We're going to Tennessee, like North and South Carolina.
Oh, that's so great.
We've pretty much hit up like all the regions. You know what I mean? It's been really cool seeing all those like just completely different styles of barbecue. You know, especially like only knowing Central Texas barbecue and what that's about. Like it's really cool going to like St. Louis and trying like St. Louis ribs, or going to like Memphis and getting some like, you know, dry rub ribs, or Kansas City and getting some nice like super sauced up
sauced up beef. That's
it's crazy, man. It was cool. And you know, like I still think Central Texas barbecue is my favorite style of barbecue. But I think it was really cool to experience like all those different flavor.
yeah, it's and that's what makes barbecue so fascinating and wonderful. That we have that in the United States. It's so true and it's authentic to its area too, which is so killer.
Yeah, man, and it's dictated by like the region and what resources you have. You know, I think that's really cool. Like one of the coolest things about barbecue is that you're kind of living off the land.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And,
Without a doubt. And that's so. Yeah, so I want to know if say you had a friend that wanted to come to Austin for a day, like say they said a day, they're coming in for work during the week, or they're coming in for the weekend. What would you recommend? Would you recommend them going out to Louis Miller, like to try to do that on a weekend, or would you or go to Lockhart, or would you?
if you had one day,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say I wouldn't wait in line at Franklin, just because if you have one day to pack everything in.
Yeah.
I've done it before. There's a way to like hit up as many spots as you can.
Okay.
I would probably hit up. Yeah, I would go to Lockhart. I would go to Louis. I would start off the day. I would go to Mickleweight Craft Meats to start the day off. That's like, oh man, that's like one of my favorite restaurants.
So good.
One of my favorite barbecue restaurants in Austin, man. I would go there. Start off the day there. I'd probably go from there to like Lockhart and like hit up Kreitz and like Schmitty's, maybe Black's if you want to go out there. And then I would go from there. You can go like 15 to 20 minutes up the highway, and then you go to Luling and you go to City Market, get some sausage, get some ribs, and then from there I would probably go to like Taylor. That's like not too far away, but it's it's a drive, but it's not that bad. Yeah, and I would go to Louis and then get some barbecue. And if you're still hungry after that, maybe go back to town and get like Terry Black's or something for dinner. Go to the east side and go to like Liberty or Shangri-La and go get some beers or something and hang out.
Exactly.
And,
There's all those wonderful places for dinner too after that, or for drinks after dinner.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Go to maybe Rainy Street, or go to.
Yeah, Rainy Street gets kind of crazy. Rainy Street's not so much my scene, but I'm like, I don't know. There's some cool bars on Rainy Street, man. There's a place called I think it's called Half Step. They have awesome cocktails.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they have this like little like they make their own ice, and you can go out back and like watch the guy like cutting up ice with like this big chainsaw.
Oh,
Oh man, it's pretty fun.
that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But
go to like Rainy Street, go to the East Side. There's a lot of bars.
Rainy
You gotta
Street's
watch.
unique because it's just different than what people see across the
Yeah,
United States. It's unique, but it also does get a little nuts.
yeah, man. Oh, especially, I mean, it gets pretty crazy, man. And it's cool. There's like it's like a lot of like houses. You know what I mean? Like a lot. I think that's one thing that's like Austin's pretty cool. Like for is like a lot of the businesses like are like old
Uh-huh.
houses, and I think that's like part of like what like Austin is not known for, but it's like something that you just kind of observe when you're here. It's like a lot of these places like really old houses, you know.
Yeah, which they don't.
Um,
That's not the case it is in many places across the United States. Which makes it feel so homey. Even like it's silly to say a house going to make you feel homey, but it's there's something about it. It's great.
yeah, Rainy Street's almost like a big block party on the weekends if you think about it. Like it's like a bunch of like bars that used to be houses, and like everybody's like neighbors, and everybody's like walking up and down the street. Like it's yeah. So
But I
yeah, I
could
don't
see
know.
it get out of control. Does it get crazy with college kids too? Is that kind of the
Yeah. So I think
or tourists?
Rainy Street seems like more like the adult like college kids. You know what I mean? It's like an older crowd,
Okay.
but they still love to like party and hang out and drink. I think Dirty Sixth Street is like where all the college kids and like the frat dudes and like those sorority girls go, and they just get wild. I've never really been to Sixth Street. I just like heard about it, and I was like, I'm not really gonna.
No,
Not,
it's yeah, it's
yeah,
and there's a lot of those streets across like campuses across
yeah,
the United States that are
oh,
like
exactly.
a mess.
Yeah, no, it just gets like sloppy out there. It's gross. It's crazy, man. Like they have to like block off the streets, like so like you have to like find a way around on like a Saturday or a Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, you can go to it's kind of like the Bourbon Street of
True.
Austin,
Yeah.
the less historical Bourbon Street. Yeah,
Or like a Vegas kind of like
yeah,
without the casinos, but like
yeah, exactly.
people just like sloppy, like walking in
Yeah,
the street.
just have like cops just standing in the middle of the street, just like, taking pictures of people. Like really care to say like you're really drunk. I guess because you're just kind of like blocked in. Like you're like blocked into like this tiny little
That is
box.
true. Yeah, which is
Go.
just sounds awful to me.
I'm gonna sit there and babysit everybody, and they're just
Yeah.
kind of like walking around like, oh yeah, okay.
So do you know what's a place that you might know because you love barbecue? Is there a place that's off people's radar that people might not know about?
Um,
Someone that's doing it. You said Brotherton because but they did a lot
yeah,
of sandwiches, right?
yeah, they do a lot of sandwiches. They also have really good barbecue, but I think like their sandwiches is like what they're like most known for, you know, like the Banh Mi or the Reuben. I'd say yeah, the barbecue used to be more off people's radar. Same for Midway. I think those places are both like pretty like popular and pretty much on people's radars now.
Yeah.
So I would say go to Curlin Barbecue
Okay.
right off Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
It's right by this place called what's it called? Veracruz All Natural.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like this little like so like the barbecue truck is like this like white trailer. They got a little smoker, and then it's like a husband and wife that run it. And the wife she also makes like really really good kolaches.
Oh,
They
really?
put like they put like their jalapeno cheese sausage in there. You can get a brisket cheese kolache. So yeah, I don't know the schedule for that, but it might be on the weekends. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they do a great job, man. I always have a great meal there, and I wish they were like more on people's radar.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like they were deserving of like a top 50 spot for sure.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, if you were in town, I would definitely check them out as well.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. What is there anything else that people might know about you? What's your band's name?
We were called the Trophy Pets.
The which one?
Trophy Pets.
The Trophy Pets. Yeah, sorry. It was
Oh yeah, man. It was fun. This is a heavy rock and roll band.
okay.
Yeah, man.
Are you gonna like? So when's the band?
We sent all of our guitars in to go get like fixed up and like set up last week, so we get
Oh,
those back and start jamming again. Now that I'm back in Austin,
that's
we can
right.
start having fun and playing music again.
Well, nice. Well, what I'll do is I'll email you and get links to everything that you're doing, so people can get a hold of you. So that way, just to make sure I know most of the ways to get a hold of you, but
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Yeah,
awesome.
the website's almost done. I just gotta like take pictures and I
Will it
gotta. I
be
was gonna.
called Dylan Taylor Barbecue? Is that?
It'll be called Taylor BBQ. Yeah,
Taylor.
I don't know if that's what I want to name the restaurant, just because I don't know if I want it to be like my last name.
Yeah.
Just I think I could probably come up with something a little catchier of a name. But I mean, for a catering company, it'll work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So
Okay.
yeah, man. So we'll get that going probably within like the next week or two.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much,
Awesome.
Kevin.
Well, have a great week. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm glad we got this figured out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm glad we got the camera working.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to hang out and grab a beer and
Cool.
go get some barbecue.
Sounds good. Excellent.
Cheers, Kevin.
Cheers.